Okay, here we go. June 2017, number 5. There's a couple different ways we could do it. Right away in the directions, they say PTRO is a trapezoid. There's only one property you need to know for a trapezoid, and that is the bases are parallel to each other. So I knew that PT was parallel to OR. Now, let me show you two different ways I could approach this problem. Now that I know those sides are parallel, I know these two triangles here, MPT and MOR, are similar to each other by angle. Anybody remember what these angles were called? Corresponding, and they both share angle M. So that's why it would be by angle. Meaning their sides are in the same ratio. So 2 in triangle MPT would match up with what in the larger triangle? MP would match up with what in the larger triangle? 6 MO. Go to the other side. I'll call M, I know I'm not solving for it, but I'll call MTX. And what would X correspond with in the larger triangle? 9, so I get 6X equals 18, X equals 3. And of course, they put that there because they want you to pick it. But the question is not asking me for MT, which I called X. It's asking me for TR. So I take 9 minus 3, and I get 6 out of that. One way. Other way, I don't know. This would be unbelievable if anybody could bust out the theorem here. Yeah, go ahead. Side splitter. If the lines are parallel, only if the lines are parallel, 2 over 4 divides those sides proportionally with, if I call this X, what would I call TR then? 9 minus X. So you could have done the proportion that way too, but only if the lines are parallel, I can use that thing called side splitter theorem. Justin, you're up.
Isn't 9 minus X supposed to be over X?
Unless I do 4 over 2. Because it's these two proportionally over these two.
Okay.
If you, hey, I think what you're thinking, if you call TRX, then yeah, that would be 9 minus X. Okay, it all depended on what you called X.
I think that's what I did.
Okay, your question.
23.
23, everybody.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm not going to lie, I had a slight issue with this one too, and I'll show you where I got stuck before I ended up figuring what I was not looking for here. I was looking in the wrong spot. Okay, here we go. It does not use that word, so I'm not going to use it, but it does say how much metal to the nearest cubic inch. What am I looking for then if it's cubic inch? Volume, even though that word does not come up. Here's another little tricky. This sucker was tricky. Here's why. 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches. Feet. Yeah, I had to convert that before we even started. So 27 times 12. 324 inches. So make sure that's converted before we even start because the directions say how many cubic inches. So everything should be in inches. So there's one little piece. And I've even gotten to the one that got me going nuts yesterday as I was doing these myself. Volume. All right. Let's go on the bottom, Justin. What's the figure on the bottom?
It's a
rectangular prism. So length times width times height, right? So we're going, let's see, 27 times 2.5. Now, how about the height of it? Because it's not 2.5. Or does it say? Oh, it's 2.5. Yeah, the railing. So what about that part? Right there. And this is where it got me, because I was like, well, do I cut it in half? And if I do cut it in half, I'm just plain guessing if I cut it in half. I have no mathematical reasoning why I'm cutting it in half. Then I saw, oh, wait a second. If that's 2.5, isn't this part 2.5 up here? That would be my diameter. And what would be my radius now up there? 1.25 right here, which would mean, getting back to my problem, what's this part right here? It has to be 1.25 because it totals 2.5 altogether. So I know most of us probably just cut it in. I was ready to cut it in half, but I was like, I need some kind of mathematical background to tell you guys, and that's where it came from. All right, that the diameter was 2.5, so cut it in half. 1.25. Good so far, Justin? Okay, now we do the volume of a half cylinder on top. Usually it's pi r squared times the height, but I'm going to put a half in front since it's a half cylinder. And now you can know the radius is 1.25 squared. And what about the height of that cylinder from base to base? 324 inches, yep. Good there? Yeah, that was a tricky sucker. You're thinking to yourself, oh, we've done a ton of these. I'm just going to add them together, and then whew, it's in feet. Got to put it in inches first. Then I'm a little stuck on the radius deal over there. June 2017, yes.
When you're like showing your work, how much work do you have to show?
For multiple choice?
No, for like
the parts 2, 3, and 4s?
Yeah.
What do you mean by?
If you just like wrote out the formula.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. But you don't have to explain where 1.25 came from, or unless it clearly says explain. Okay. Correct, yes. But I would still, just to be on the safe side, Amy, write a little sentence down at the bottom that answers the question. Okay, just to be on the safe side. Mike.
15. I just forgot one of the steps for the ratio.
Okay, lead me through how you're going to do this so I can try to do it the same way anyway. So for the x coordinate, what are you doing?
I did -4 to 6, which is 10.
-4 to 6, that's 10, yep.
And then I think you divide 10 by 2.
No.
I wasn't sure.
Divide it by how many parts you're breaking it up into.
Oh,
So you're
by 5.
5. And then multiply by 2. So divide by 5, multiply by 2. So really you're multiplying it by 2/5. Or you can do it 2 separate steps, Mike. You want to divide by 10, then take that number and multiply it by 2, that's fine. Either way, you're going to get to 4, which tells you should go 4 units from your starting point and end up at 0. Okay? And then the same thing goes when you find your y coordinate. Always stick with the first number. Never go to the second number. Anything else here, guys? Before we put June 2017 in class to rest. Obviously, you guys have more questions to answer on your own during review, but in class anyway. Emily. Okay, a little circle question. Good, I'm glad, because we've done a lot of circles, but we have not covered this rule yet. You guys got your formula, cold hard facts to know? So I want you guys get in the habit of looking these things up yourself. BC is 12, FE is 5 more than DE. Oh, and we were told chord DF bisects chord BC. Perfect. So this is 6 and 6 because it's getting bisected. And FE is 5 more than DE. So I'll call DE X and FE 5 more than that, X plus 5. Did you guys find in your cold hard facts when you have 2 intersecting chords what my rule is? 2 intersecting chords, they break them up into 2 parts. The products are equal. So 6 times 6 on one chord is equal to what on the other chord? X times X plus 5, yep. So 36 equals X squared plus 5X. Move the 36 over. Hey, can I please just make a small comment right now, and hopefully you guys take it and run with it. I realize here some of you may go into panic mode now because you think you're awful at factoring, which is fine. I get it. This is a multiple choice example. You do not have to factor here. If you set this up correctly, guys, what can you do with every single multiple choice now? Plug it in for X and see if you get 36. That's the great thing about multiple choice. The answer is there somewhere. All right, you don't have to find it on your own. It's there somewhere. So if you are like factoring, no, why me? And because that's going to throw you off the rest of the exam. All right, one little factoring question is going to throw you off the rest of the exam. Okay, it's already there. Answer's there. So go ahead and plug every single one in and figure out which one equals 36. It's fine. No one's asking you to factor. But if you are factoring, what are those two numbers? Multiplies the 36, 5 apart.
Minus 9 plus 4.
9 and 4 plus 9 minus 4. So you get x equals 4 and x equals -9, but negative in this case is ridiculous because it's a length, so we're looking at big 4. Okay. Use the multiple choice to your advantage. The answer is there somewhere. And what did I just? Because I don't follow what I preach. And just because you find X doesn't, I yelled at first period for this. Just because you find X doesn't make you a winner. All right? That fires me up. Just because you found X does not make you a winner. Go back, reread the problem. I was not looking for X. I was looking for FE, which is 5 more. And of course, they put 4 there because people like me just go quickly and think you're a hero because you found X, but you're nothing. Read the darn problem. You are there for 2 hours maximum, remember? All right, you can stay for 3, but you're there for 2. So if you finish early, definitely go through the multiple choice again. Did I answer it? Did I answer what was asked? Did I answer what was asked? All right, got to stay for 2. Got to stay for 2. Anything else we want to go? RPI? No, this is not my college day. Unlike the other seniors, it's not my college day. No, we just participated in a tournament this past weekend, and I got a free shirt. And I've always words to live by. One of my coaches in high school: free clothes fit better, free food tastes better. So, my first year and a half, I went to Central Connecticut State, right outside of Hartford, and then I transferred to UAlbany and finished up there. I made a very poor decision coming out of high school to go to Central Connecticut. Basically, a couple factors, and I don't mind telling you. They threw a partial scholarship in front of me to play football there, and thought I was the man, and they're going to pay for a lot of my education, so why not go? Even though I really didn't think about it too much, and it was in a bad area. Not that it's anymore, but it was in a bad area. Most of the kids went home on the weekends, so it was almost like a commuter school. And I don't know, I was just miserable there. And plus, when I went on my recruiting trip there, they got me into one of the bars just showing my learner's permit. So I thought I was the man then too. But so there was other schools that were more highly academic than Central Connecticut State that I probably should have looked into a lot more. But I just thought I was the man getting a partial Yeah, I went to Niskayuna. I went to Niskayuna, so yeah, I know. Yep. Yeah, I graduated at 205 pounds. Yep.
Really?
Yeah. What's that? Running back. Yeah. So there's a little past history, but all in all, do I regret making that decision? Absolutely, but in the end, it turned out to be great because one, well, no, not that at all. Not that at all, but going to UAlbany, getting my degree there. Now, now I'm working for one of the best districts in the state, which I can't. I would never turn down this job for any other job. And I ended up meeting Mrs. Carlino at Albany too. So yeah.
Okay, that's a little weird.
Email. What is it? What's the?
I want to see what she looks like.
She looks like my wife. She's not. There's not. She's not over there at all. Yeah, I know. Can you believe it? Yeah. Out of my league right there, right? Is that what you're telling me? That I'm out of my league? Yeah. Outkicked my coverage there. Yep. Okay, we all good here? We all good? Yep. 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 Okay. Yeah. Any other questions on the June 2017? And I'm glad Emma will get to listen to all this as she watches the video again. So. Sorry, Emma. Any other questions? Okay, so I'm going to put that one to rest. Can we get out the January 118 that you got as you came in today? There are just a few questions, topics that we have not gone over in months that I just want to re-familiarize yourself with. We'll start with number 9. I just wanted you to see if you guys remember this theorem. Exterior angle of a triangle, which is what 180 minus 3x is? Equal to? Ooh, for a bonus, remember what those angles were called? Nice, remote interior angles. Did anybody learn from my mistake 2 minutes ago? Yes, you are not a winner because you found X. Yep, you are not a winner because you found X.
Good question. Oh, wait.
Get 60. Remember, you're not finding X, you're finding angle BAC. The angle next to the exterior angle. Okay, we all good? All right, I want to go to 16 now. I know I've always said this, it was a rough unit, so try to get as many facts refreshed as we can. 16. Which statement is not true? You got AMC, they tell you is a diameter. They tell you MB is a radius. All right, let's go through each one with me. Is ABC a right triangle? If it is, it's got a right angle. So does that have a right angle anywhere? Does triangle ABC have a right angle somewhere? Okay, where is it? And defend yourself. Where is it, Cam?
ABC.
Why is ABC a right angle?
It's an inscribed angle drawn to a semicircle.
Perfect. Perfect. So that is true, that it is a right triangle. Do you think ABM is isosceles? Is that the one that's incorrect? No, we got some arguments here. What's BM? What's AM? In the same circle, they are congruent, right? That makes it isosceles. Yes, so that is a true statement. All right, let's keep going. We got some more here. Arc BC and angle BMC have the same measure. What did we call angle BMC? Central, what's it always equal to? The arc, and what's its arc? What arc belongs to BMC? BC, so they should have the same measure, yes. So why would number 4 be wrong, not by process of elimination, though? ACB. What type of angle is ACB? It's inscribed, yeah. How do I find any inscribed angle? What was the rule? Half of its arc. What was the arc that belongs to ACB? Yeah, AB. So the 1/2 is put on the wrong one. It should be on the arc, not the angle. Okay, because it's equal to half the arc. Okay, so take your time. We all good there? All right. 21. This would be huge. Anyone remembers this small little fact we went over in the circle unit? And it comes up on the multiple choice in the Regents. You got a quadrilateral inscribed in the circle. Now, some of you I know, hey, they all equal 360. I'm just going to add them up and equal 360. Good luck when you do that, because this is an X and that's a Y. So that's a problem. But there is a theorem out there that if I have a quadrilateral inscribed in a circle.
Oh, angles across the board are equal?
You got the right angles, but not the correct theorem. Opposite angles. Supplementary. They're not congruent. Opposite angles are supplementary if you have a quadrilateral inscribed in a circle. So add them up, set them equal to 180. And we end up with choice 4. Should have been 4. Why?
I got X equals 110 and Y equals 75.
This is 65, right? Move the 65 over. 180 minus 65. 115. 60, yeah. Negative 10 plus 75. I add these up. Opposite angles are supplementary. They add to 180. You all right there, slugger? Which I shouldn't say, because I hate it when people call me something like that or see me, hey, chief, how you doing? No, I'm not a chief. Thanks. Champ, yep. No. Hey, big guy. No. No. Kiddo?
Mr. Shy. Like big C, like big Al.
No. Don't go there, Will. Don't go there. Don't go with short stack. All right. Don't even go there. All right. I'm sure everyone had a little kid nickname growing up. Okay. All right. Everyone had one, I'm sure.
What was yours?
Mine, J.C. Penney.
Why?
Because everyone in my family calls me JC because my dad's name is John. So just to separate us, when I was a kid, they called me JC, my initials. So my mom would just call me JC Penney.
Can we call you Junior?
No. No. 23, everybody. 23. I'm glad we're just digging deeper into the Chronicles today. Whatever you got. I have nothing to hide, so.
What
No.
season and episode were you on Fear Factor?
I wasn't not on any episode. It was a like a daily show they do in University Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
No, it was my. What do you mean me? That goes myself and 4 other people.
I've seen videos.
Dude, I want to see that. Why'd you lose?
I didn't lose.
You lost?
This is a champion right there.
Oh my god, Cameron. Of course you didn't lose. Yeah,
What were you scared of?
There, a hat. I luckily I didn't have to eat anything, so it wasn't that bad. What am I scared of?
What were you scared of that?
Nothing there. That wasn't that big of a deal. Like maybe the heights a little bit, but that didn't bother me.
Wait, what year was
What did you have to do?
That was 2007.
I watched Fear Factor live.
I had to hang, like, we went up like this 3-story building and you walked out into like a plank. And then there was like these bars underneath I had to grab onto. Like it looked like this that I grabbed onto. And then the plank just fell. So I was just hanging there. I had it bungeed, obviously. And then the first one to fall was eliminated. So no, I wasn't the last one. And then there was 4 of us. So we partnered up. And my partner and I was bungeed up, and it kind of was like swinging like a pendulum back and forth. And I had raw squid in my hands, and I had to toss it to my partner as I was swinging back and forth. And he had a bucket that he had to catch him in. I'm just telling you.
Not even scared. That's just nasty.
I want to see your head.
What's that university? We can't
No, it wasn't anything like that.
Or like,
Sorry, it wasn't anything like that. So.
how'd you meet your wife?
Ready for number 23. Just doing the chronicles of Mr. Carlino and his life. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey.
I thought you said you didn't have to walk
Hey.
home.
Anybody want to try to go down and rip geometry off right now from the armored guards and the sniper on the roof? Sniper on the roof.
Zip ties are.
Yep.
I'm so worried. Zip ties.
Okay, ready? 23. I definitely want to get through this one here. 23. I don't even know if many of you know just by looking at the diagram what this is going to turn into. This is Hills and Sass. Right triangle with an altitude drawn to the hypotenuse. Yes, this is going to be a Hills and Sass problem. We are finding the length of BC. Has anybody labeled the altitude at all? Okay, so what has to automatically be then at a Hills and Sass if the altitude's not even involved? It's got to be a Hills question now. H4, hypotenuse, 12. L4, leg. Which leg am I concerned about? Remember, when I say leg, I mean leg of the original huge right triangle here. So ABC. So I'm X. This is 4. Same leg. Yep. Same leg. X. Ooh, now the S. Segment. You have 2 segments in the diagram. CD and DA. You have 2 segments. Which one do you use? The one closest to the leg you put into the proportion. So in this case, it would be CD, not labeled, but we can easily find out it's 4. So we have x squared equals 36. Okay. All right. Here's exactly what I was talking about when I said, don't be scared of the factoring. You're like, oh, he's going to make me break that down. Do you need to break it down because this is multiple choice? No, plug it in your calculator, find out the decimal, go through each multiple choice, and find out the matching one. Okay. But want to prepare you for everything. Anybody biggest perfect square that goes into 48? 16 times 3. So that would be 4 square root of 3. Yeah. Yeah. I won that one. I won this one. Okay. All right, BC. All good? I think I got 2 more. 27. Right triangle ABC, where C is the right angle. A and B. If the sine of A increases, does cosine of B increase or decrease? Ooh, crickets. You guys ready? What do you know about the sine of A and cosine of...
Complementary.
Oh, hold on. A and B are, yes. And if they are complementary, what do you know about sine and cosine? Those are equal up here. No. If they're equal, if sine of A increases, what's cosine of B have to do if they're equal? It has to what as well? Increase. Guys, these are always, as long as A and B are what? Hey, as long as A and B are what? Complementary. Are they complementary in here? Yeah, because I have 90 degrees left over, so those two have to add to 90, which means sine and cosine are going to be equal. All right, sine and cosine. So if one goes up, so does the other because they're equal. All right, so cosine of B increases because sine of A is equal to cosine of B. So whatever one does, so will the other. Tough one there, a little tricky. Got one more in you here for today?
Why do you have a hole in your shirt?
I don't know, it just came out. I don't know.
Did you notice when you put it on?
I did, and I didn't care. I'm not out, no offense, guys, I'm just not out to impress some sophomores today. Sorry, just wasn't on my to-do list. All right. 35.
Oh, it's a double page. It's a double page.
We'll see how much we can get through here. I just want to make sure you guys are well aware of how much work you got to show for these coordinate geometry proofs, because I have no idea what type of proof is going to be on there. And actually, this is not bad for the part 4 question. Not bad at all if we get something like this. But you know what I always get caught up in? I always look, because this is the last Regents that was given, last geometry one, recent one that was given. My thought goes, oh, they gave a coordinate geometry one last exam, so they're not going to give another one the very next exam, but I could be totally wrong. Okay, so just to prepare you, prove to me that this is isosceles. Formulas we're going to need here. Distance, okay. And this is why it's also helpful, even though it says the use of the grid is optional, baloney. I always like to use it because now when you graph the triangle, is it pretty clear which two we're going to find the distance of? Yeah, it is. That's the advantage of graphing. All right, so you guys have a lot more room than I gave myself up here. So distance formula, or you can use Pythag. x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. All right, so let's find the distance of AP, and let's find the distance of AT, and hopefully they'll be equal to each other. Anybody coming up with one of the distances so we can clap or boo for you? Now nobody wants to tell me. Square root of? And then AT also coming out to be? Square root of 130. Do you feel like you need to break that down at all? No, there's no need to at all. Look, 130, 130, square root, they're the same. All right, let me ask you guys, what should you write next now? Now that you found square root of 130, square root of 130, what's coming next? Little explanation of what just happened. What did you just find?
The distances are equal.
So that means what? So AP is congruent to AT because
The
distances are equal. Making what now?
making ATP an isosceles.
Is an isosceles triangle because? Got it right, because? How do I know it's isosceles?
Two sides are equal.
AP, yep. Two sides are congruent. AP to AT. A lot of different ways you could express your idea there. And then tomorrow, and then Monday we'll finish it with the parallelogram because that is an important part. Okay, again, I'll be here after school today and Monday for reviewing purposes. And I will have 2 new exams for you on Monday.